Hello and welcome back. We're going to look at the miracle today, and we're going to look at letting go of limitations, our own self-imposed limitations. And when you allow yourself the opportunity to study material like A Course in Miracles or a different form of spirituality that really invites you to truly go deep and question the foundations of everything that you now believe, which clearly we're invited to do here explicitly. Yeah, one of those deep versions of spirituality, which apparently you're interested in because you're watching this. Very cool, very cool. We tend to think in the world that we're not holding ourselves back, that it's the outside world, in fact, that's in our way. They're stopping us. The opposition political party is stopping us. Our mother-in-law is stopping us. Our boss at work is stopping us. The dog, the cat is stopping us. The sky is stopping us. A disease is stopping us. We're being stopped by something outside of us. And in this state, the world feels like it's coming at us, coming at you fast. But when we allow ourselves the opportunity to truly study material like this course, we realize that, in fact, the world's not coming at us. It's coming from us. When that really hits you, the power of these teachings really comes into focus. In other words, we're doing this to ourselves. Accepting that responsibility is huge, because having done this, made this, we can unmake it. And yes, you are that powerful. You don't have to believe me. As always, you can choose to believe or not. You can choose to do this course or not. Really, it's up to you. It's up to all of us. And we have the choice in the present moment to run and hide. Now, there's something that's keeping you watching. So let's delve into this here. We're in chapter 3 of the text, section 2. It's called The Miracle as True Perception. All right, miracles as true perception. And the miracle perceives only what is. In other words, it sees only perfection. When we're practicing true forgiveness, as we're taught here in A Course in Miracles, we're seeing only perfection. We're seeing what is rather than what we want to have things be. We're seeing things as they are. We're seeing our brother for who he is, not as who we would have him be, because here in the world, we'd make him either a victim of our rage or a martyr, right? Or we'd make ourselves a martyr, and we'd make our brother the aggressor, the tyrant, the dom, and we're the sub, right? I mean, we create these dichotomies in our own mind. It's not real. And in forgiveness, in the miracle, we're overlooking the illusion, and we're choosing to see, with the guidance of our inner teacher, what is. True perception. We see only perfection when we extend the miracle, and we see only that. So it's said in a couple of different places here in this course that only what we create with God, only our loving thoughts, only what we create with the same will as God's is real. Only our loving thoughts can really be said to be real here in the world. There is no world. But here, while we appear to be here, only our loving thoughts, only our forgiveness can really be said to be real. So the miracle, our true forgiveness, is powerful because it looks past illusion. It looks past the illusion of a separate person on the screen. It looks past the illusion of a separate political party or someone who has more temporal authority than you because they have been elected to political office. People voted for them, or they seized power on their own, yeah, or whatever happened for them to get into that position, or someone at work, right? Your supervisor, your boss seems to have this thing called power that's a complete illusion, isn't it? So in forgiveness, we're overlooking the illusion of separation and we're choosing to see only what is oneness. There has never been any separation. That's the meaning of accepting the atonement for ourselves. It is an acknowledgement that the separation never occurred. So as you forgive, this is a helpful thing to have in mind. This never occurred. We've never been separate. Our brother's never been separate from us. There's no self and other. There's no subject and object. There's no separation of any kind. Never has been. So we're overlooking what appeared to happen because it never happened. This is something that's very powerful when we begin to practice it and when we study this material and begin to understand it by putting it into practice, not merely by intellectually grasping it, which does have tremendous value. Don't get me wrong. It's important to have some understanding of the ideas, but that's not a prerequisite, by the way. You can begin to put this into practice without intellectually grasping any of this at all. In fact, when we're doing the workbook for students, it's said, Jesus says, you don't have to believe any of these ideas. In fact, you may actively resist them, and we all do, don't we? All that's asked is that you do the exercises. So all that's really asked is that we entertain these ideas. We don't have to fully understand them on an intellectual level in order to derive benefit from them. That's what we're saying. So we're afraid of the will of God because we've used our own mind to miscreate, to create and sow division, further separation. That's why we have this fear of the will of God. What is important for us to understand is that it's the same as ours. Our will and God's will are one. Of course, there's never been any separation of any kind, ever. And it's our own mind that's holding ourselves back when we choose to see ourselves as an individual, self-sustaining survival unit, defining and defending personal territory and competing for what we deem to be scarce and limited resources, extremely limited resources. We think someone's out to get us, or we're in league with somebody 1 minute, but we don't fully trust them. So we're going to prepare a preemptive strike or our own defense just in case when we're enmeshed in this existence. It's just an illusion, and what we're doing is we're continuing to imprison our own mind. We're placing limitations on ourselves and holding our own selves back. We're holding ourselves back. That's what we're doing. And we're challenged with letting go of our limitations here. That's what we're invited to do. And when you forgive, that's really what's going on, is you're letting go of your limitations. And to be one is to be of one mind or one will. So true forgiveness is powerful. It's no wonder that that is the central focus of A Course in Miracles. It's no wonder that that is the practical and foundational centerpiece of this entire thought system. We're acknowledging oneness. In fact, the definition of heaven is the awareness of perfect oneness. So we're acknowledging that, and we're allowing truth to be simply as it is. So this is a nice, short, quick invitation to you to practice, to let go of your limitations. And if this material seems outlandish, well, welcome to the path. It's designed to get us to foundationally question everything. Literally, the foundations of everything that we've ever been taught or indoctrinated. I like to use that word because it's really what it is, conditioned to believe. You know? I mean, if you're questioning something that a projected image on your screen says, great, but don't stop with just that. Question everything. Literally, we're invited here in this course to do just that. Question the foundations of everything that you now believe without stopping to reserve certain things for yourself. Question everything. Deep down, each of us has the urge to do just that, don't we? It's why we're here in the first place on a spiritual path. It's why we're interested in this. It's why we have acted on that voice, whatever form it took for you, that told you that there's got to be something more to this. There's got to be a better way to go through this experience that we call a human life. There's got to be more to it than just that experience, the human life. There's got to be more to it than this 80% water substance. Well, there is. And at some point, we've all listened to that voice and taken action. You're simply watching this, whether you believe everything that's being said or not, is taking action on it. And these videos are presented to have you contemplate. We're invited to entertain these ideas. And how do we learn that they're true? By putting them into practice. There is never, ever any substitute for doing this course. It's how we learn it. There's never any substitute for doing the work, is there? As much as we want to have everything be handed to us on a silver platter, we want to be handed absolute heaven on a platter without having to do a single thing. You know, we don't want to forgive this person or that person, but yeah, in order to experience the peace of God, we do that forgiveness. We do it because it's either total or it's not at all. It encompasses every living thing, or it's not at all. So, in whatever way it makes sense for you to let go of your limitations, I invite you to do that. And again, this course is all about getting in touch with your inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, your guide or guides, whatever you call your inner teacher. You don't even have to call it a name at all, as a name's just a series of sounds. Actually, it's a collection of sounds that we assign meaning to. And really, when you think about it, but your inner teacher speaks to you in many different ways. It doesn't have to be a voice in your own language. It doesn't have to be an audible sound. It can be a sound that someone else makes. It could be a sound that appears to be coming from your device right now, from this projected image on your screen. It's your inner teacher that's talking to you. If you're inspired to practice, good. It's your inner teacher that's inspiring you to practice. It's not Reverend Tomas Garza. It's the Holy Spirit that's inspiring you to practice, to love, to extend love, because that is what we are. And this voice can take many forms. It can be something that you read. It can be something that you see on the highway. It can be in the form of an intuitive hit or a thought, an idea that just comes to you. And somehow there's a clarity to it, a certainty. So whatever form that takes, I invite you to pay attention to that. It's your inner teacher speaking to you, and how your inner teacher speaks to you is necessarily going to look differently than how the inner teacher, your neighbor's inner teacher, speaks to him or her. Yeah, it's very, very powerful stuff. So ask your inner teacher how best to let go of your limitations. And as we let them go, we begin to have a very vastly different experience. Oh, yeah. So I invite you to join me. All right. The subscription button is right here. That's the red arrow. I'd love to have you join me. And thank you to all of you who have recently subscribed and commented. The comments and questions are very important here. I really welcome those. And I can't stress that enough, that I am here to be a guide for you. So please feel welcome to leave any comments or questions that you may have. And I will get to them as quickly as I possibly can. And I will see you all very, very soon. And thank you, as always, for joining me.